And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you this morning?
Celebrating another Nuggets win last night. Sorry to see Cooper Flagg go off with an ankle turn, but good to see the Nuggets get a win. Alex and I were just chatting before the show, and you and I've chatted earlier, actually last week. How well were they going to weather this storm without Nikola Jokic? Well, I'm knocking on wood when I'm saying this, but so far, really so good. I mean, they're doing a nice job.
Well, we're going to dig more into that in just a matter of minutes, but first, want to tell you about Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years. Tomorrow, the city of Aurora is having an impounded vehicles auction featuring trucks, cars, SUVs, 4x4s, trailers, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com. Don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
We have played this game for most of the last, 3-4 months. The game is what's more impressive? What the Avalanche have done for the entire season. What they have done plus minus. What Nathan McKinnon has done, what the Broncos have done. And now I think we should easily add the Nuggets to the list. The Nuggets are 6-3 without Nikola Jokic in the lineup. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I mean, we knew that their depth was considerably better. This much better, probably not to this level. Peyton Watson is having a breakout year. That's been huge, obviously. And they have remained fairly consistent to their defensive tenets during this stretch. I will argue that not argue, but will point out that when the Nuggets have problems, even when Jokic is in the lineup, it's usually because they don't defend at a high level. You go and look at I think they're averaging 124 points or something like that in games that they lose this season, or they were up to a certain point. I'm not sure how the metrics are now in this last iteration of what the Nuggets are doing, but they're playing consistent basketball with guys that aren't trying to do too much and guys that are doing it well. And it's great to see. And let's face it, I mean, they've played the Mavericks, who, by the way, had beaten them twice this season. So, I mean, it wasn't any foregone conclusion you were going to go into Dallas and get a win last night.
Yep.
New Orleans before that, an absolutely awful basketball team. So it helps a little bit who they're playing right now. But having said that, they also went into Philly and Boston basically with the same group and won games. So, give credit where it's due.
I'll give you a couple of reasons.
Sure.
Number one, Jamal Murray has proven he can be Batman. Yep. He doesn't have to be Robin anymore. Yep. In January, he is averaging 30 points a game. Yep. And last night just threw in another 33 points. Yep. I understand the competition isn't as high as, say, San Antonio or Oklahoma City. But the guy has proven he's much better than just being a sidekick. Number two, and you brought this up, so I'll piggyback on this, Peyton Watson. He is a better defender than Cam Johnson, and he is clearly, at least of what we have seen so far this season, because Cam Johnson joined the team this year, he is a superior offensive talent to Cam Johnson. So you lose a starter and you fill in a guy who spent the majority of his career on the bench, and he has been considerably better in Peyton Watson. Number three, Christian Brown. You can make the case Jalen Pickett as a backcourt mate, whether he plays point guard or shooting guard. Listen, Jamal Murray is a shooting guard.
Right.
But he plays, in theory, point guard. Mm-hmm. So if you have talent on the floor, and you certainly have the right size matchups, you can interchange guys. Jalen Pickett has been as good of an offensive player, if not better, than Christian Brown.
Yeah.
So with that, you've taken 2 starters out of the lineup, and the 2 guys that have replaced them have been better. And then throw in Jamal Murray. I really think it is that simple. They have found backups who are better than their own starters.
Yeah. And they're finding success generally playing small right now. And that's harder to sustain depending on who you're playing. You're going to get matchups that make that much more difficult. But your point on Jamal Murray is it's worth expounding on a little bit. This is a guy, 8 years in, that you know has been a really strong, solid piece of what the Nuggets have been in their championship year, and but he has lacked consistency, and the consistency that he has played with, and I think the understanding, because Jamal Murray would never be, I don't think anyone would ever think that Jamal Murray's not a bright guy. He's a pretty bright guy, but he has, for whatever reason, has reached another level of responsibility and accountability as a player and a leader on this team.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
This hasn't happened by accident.
Oh.
It has been well documented that David Adelman challenged Jamal Murray to come into camp in shape, be ready, be a leader. And Jamal Murray has listened to David Adelman, and we're seeing this. This isn't a fluke where suddenly Jamal Murray is just playing better.
No.
This was planned to be this way in the offseason, which in other seasons you can make the case Jamal Murray was very slow out of the gate.
No question.
So when I look forward to the playoffs, and here's your big what if game, and every attorney will tell you, I don't play the what if game. I play the fact game, not the what if game. But we're going to go against my attorney's advice, and we're going to play the what if game. What if this team is fully healthy going into the playoffs? I don't think Oklahoma City beats them. I don't think anybody beats them. Nobody beats them unless they collapse on defense. If they can play really good defense like they did during the championship season, and they played great defense during the championship season, they have enough firepower to run anybody out of the gym.
Yeah, the thing that will be the most interesting then is where the minutes come and who the minutes, how they pair the minutes. You start adding players back into the mix. Okay, well, what are you doing with guys that right now are getting 30 minutes a game or 27 minutes a game? I mean, how does Jalen Pickett play with reduced minutes, say? And I'm not saying that he will. I mean,
he's not. You know what? I'll be honest with you. When Cam Johnson comes back, who should be the starter?
Peyton Watson.
You better believe it. So it really doesn't matter when Cam Johnson comes back, because now you have a starter in Peyton Watson. It's Cam Johnson who's coming off the bench.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably reality at this point, and should be. I mean, right? But right. David, but that is a part of the element. The blessing and the curse of really deep talent is you still got to figure out minutes to make the depth work.
I think Oklahoma City did a pretty good job of that last year.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's a challenge. It is a challenge. I mean, now you're still playing without key people, but there was a 7-man rotation last night. I mean, he 8 guys played basically.
Yep.
But there was the rotation was basically 7 guys last night. So I mean, do you like, for instance, Oklahoma City last year didn't play with a shortened bench, and it's rare because most teams, most coaches start shortening the bench when you get into the postseason.
Right.
It kind of is counterintuitive because you go 2 months longer in the season. You would think that you'd want as much depth as you possibly can, but the guys that you trust is who you got to roll with the most. Now the question becomes, does David Adelman end up with 9 or 10 guys that, I mean, he really, really trusts. Guys that he said, regardless of who you're playing, we can roll this guy out. He can defend, and he can play against fill in the blank. San Antonio, Lakers, Oklahoma City, Houston Rockets. That remains to be seen. But it's never a good. That's a good problem to have when you've got that many guys that can play and that you trust in. It's a good problem to have. You can figure it out.
You know, we have talked about historically about what is going on in Denver. That, you know, you have McKinnon and Jokic who have won MVPs in the same season. I don't know if Jokic is going to win the MVP simply for the fact that I don't know if he's going to play enough games.
Yeah.
But I am not so sure. There has been a time, and I would have to look it up. Alex, if you get a chance, if you can look this up. In the history of sports, when a city has had at least 3 major professional franchises, have those coaches all finished in the top 5 for Coach of the Year. Peyton will finish top 5. Sure. There is no doubt that Bednar will finish top 5. He might even win it. But now should we start talking about David Adelman as Coach of the Year, as his team historically has not played well when Jokic is not on the floor. They are now 6-3 and the number 2 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a remarkable job. And it started with the guys that they added and the move that they made and freeing up money and room with the trade of MPJ. There were a lot of very good moves made to help facilitate this team. Look, there was a very simple vision for where the Nuggets are. And the vision, very simply, is Oklahoma City. You can look and see what Oklahoma City is. That's the gold standard right now in the West. Period. You've got to be able to compete against Oklahoma City, which they did largely in the playoffs a year ago. So you go and you get yourself a team that can play in an extended series, because you got to win a series like that at some point. By the way, you're going to have to win a series probably like that against San Antonio as well. I don't think Houston's going to be particularly easy. There are going to be some really tough outs in the West. But yes, in short, they've done a really good job in, first of all, building the team, now getting execution out of the team. And it may be surprising to other people, but I bet you to David Adelman to see guys step up and fill roles and make the most out of their opportunities. Maybe it's not as much of a surprise to him because he's been around these guys for years now.
All right, let's dig into the football games, big football games this upcoming weekend. When you look at the 8 quarterbacks who are left in the playoffs, the 8 head coaches who are left in the playoffs, where would you rank Nix and Sean Payton? Let's start with the quarterbacks. These are the guys that are left. Josh Allen, Drake May, C.J. Stroud, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, and Caleb Williams. So we can expedite this process. I'll ask you, is Bo better than blank? And that's where we'll find out where they rank, right?
Okay. And this is just are they a better player for the team they're on, they're just a better quarterback?
Are they a better quarterback?
All right. We're playing this game. Okay, go.
Josh Allen.
No.
Drake May.
Closer, but
no,
probably not.
Don't even go. Don't even go there.
Hey, that's your opinion. Closer.
You're right, it's my opinion.
Closer, but not. Yes, go. 0 for 2.
Wait a minute.
He's closer to being in Drake May's range than he is in Josh Allen's range, in my opinion. Drake May has had one good year. Bo Nix has at least had 2 good years.
I'm talking about this year only.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes, who was in the playoffs too? I'm talking about the guys who were in the playoffs and this year.
All right, Drake May this year, yes.
Of course. I mean,
yes.
we're going to go off the rails here if you're honestly putting Bo Nix's season up against Drake May.
Yeah, if we're talking about just this season, yeah. I
of course we're talking about.
I thought we were just talking about as a quarterback.
No, this season.
This season. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, yes.
CJ Stroud.
Knicks.
I would agree there. Sam Darnold. Please don't even go there.
No, I mean,
please.
Different kind of things for their teams, but Darnold probably.
Thank you.
Yes.
Brock Purdy.
Knicks.
Not
How
me.
many games has Brock Purdy played? If you're talking about this
How
year,
has he done in the games he has played?
I'll take Knicks over Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy hasn't played. I love Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But, he's missed, 6 games this year or whatever it is? I mean, he's winning in games that he plays without question. But so is Bo Nix. I will take Bo Nix over Brock Purdy. We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Just for fun, and I know stats don't mean it. Listen, Brock Purdy has been good this year. He hasn't been great. I'll give you that. 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's pretty equal in theory to Bo Nix, although you can make the case that Nix has been better. But Purdy's completing 69% of his passes. Mm-hmm. So either way, quarterback rating sitting over 100. Matthew Stafford.
Well, Matthew Stafford, no.
Okay, hey. Yeah. Okay, Caleb Williams.
I'm fine with Bo Nix.
I am fine with Bo Nix as well. Right. And to me, Caleb Williams is awesome or meh.
Yes, I would say that that's a pretty fair description of him.
Now,
and let me say this. I like Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I actually like Caleb Williams. I liked him at USC. I liked him coming out in the draft. But he still has a ways to go.
Isn't it fair, though, to say this season Bo Nix has been awesome or meh? Isn't that fair to say?
Awesome or meh?
In the fourth quarter, he's awesome. When the game's on the line, he's awesome.
Yeah.
When the game is on the line for Caleb Williams, he's awesome. When the game isn't on the line, a lot of incomplete passes, you get sacked. You're like, But we saw what happened against the Packers, but it's more than just the Packers. We talk a lot about the Denver Broncos coming back to win. The Bears could easily say, hold my beer.
Yeah.
With Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Because of Caleb Williams.
What ranking do we like? QBR, right? QBR is the generally accepted. Bo Nix is a top 10 quarterback the second half of the season, according to QBR. But yes, would I be flippant and say that he's been meh? I mean, he's like most quarterbacks. He's had games where he's been a lot better than others, without question. I think all in all, we did our grades last week or the week before. I think we both come in at B, at a good B for Bo Nix.
Yeah, he got an A in the fourth. He got an A in the fourth quarter and a C quarters 1 through 3.
Yeah. So whatever a B represents in terms of consistency, because consistency has been probably a little more questionable, but his performance has been honors. I mean, B gets you on the honor roll. Now, I don't know how many teams in the playoffs are not at least a B quarterback. I mean, I don't maybe CJ Stroud, but that's recentism. He was awful last week, absolutely abysmal last week, but he's a good quarterback. And I think that we know that.
I mean, watching Caleb Williams to start his career, when I say start his career, it started last year.
Yeah.
It is stunning to think that this guy has 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
Stunning. And oh, by the way, for a guy who got sacked what seemed to be 1 million times last season, right? The guy was sacked constantly because his processor was so slow. You know how many times he was sacked last season?
No.
68.
I know it was, a lot. I mean,
and this year it's 24.
Yeah. Right.
So he has improved dramatically.
I think well, and you and I talk about this a lot. It's a lot of times you need to check to see who you're paired with.
Right.
I mean, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, good pairing. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, good pairing. That's a really good pairing. Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, great pairing.
Now, when we go through the head coaches, it needs to be a combination of what they have done historically, but also what they've done this season, because Ben Johnson's in his first year.
Right.
And you can only base it on that. Yeah. So Sean Payton versus who's a better coach? Sean McDermott.
Payton.
I would agree with that 100%. And it's going to be interesting to see Payton's offense against McDermott's defense. Mike Vrabel.
Well,
right. The fact that you have to pause.
That's a little tougher one, because I think Mike Vrabel had really good moments in Tennessee too, right? I mean, historically.
Who are his quarterbacks again?
Yeah, exactly, right? I
right.
mean, so but I don't think there's much to choose from there. And Sean's won a Super Bowl.
Right.
I'll take Sean over Vrabel. Yeah.
I think it's a coin flip.
Yes.
DeMeco Ryans.
Sean.
Okay. Now, you look at what DeMeco Ryans has done defensively, and listen, if the Texans win the Super Bowl with the way they just played defense, they will be up there with the 2013 Seahawks, the great Ravens defense, the great Tampa defense, so on and so forth.
You haven't said Bears.
The Bears are on their own level.
Gotcha.
Granted, if the Bears played today with Otis Wilson and Dan Hampton and Gary Fensick, they'd be penalized every single play for roughing blank.
Plus, they're 70 years old.
Right. Mike McDonald.
Peyton. But I'll tell you one thing. I like what Mike McDonald is doing in Seattle. He's been good in both of his first 2 years, and he has them to be where he is with that football team. That he's done a lot. But Peyton, there's enough history there with Sean Payton on that one.
We'll see how Mike McDonald coaches in a playoff game in which they're the number one seed. But there's no denying the fact that Seattle is top four defensively and offensively this year.
They're really good. Really good.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle
Shanahan, you can make the case should be coach of the year.
Yeah, you certainly could.
Yeah.
No, you really could. Not much to choose from between Kyle Shanahan and Sean Payton, except that Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl.
Well, he's also coached longer. I would go with
I know, but I mean, you're asking me to take everything and throw it into the gumbo. You make a hell of a lot better gumbo than I possibly could. I mean, I admit that. But I think, the winning the Super Bowl has got to count for something.
Sean McVay. Please don't go there.
No, I'm Sean McVay.
Yeah. Ben Johnson.
Very impressed with what Ben Johnson has done, but not enough. Not enough proof there. So
it's only been 1 year.
So Sean Payton probably would be maybe after Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And right there with Kyle Shanahan and those, he would be right there. He'd be at the top of the list. Coming
up after the break, if the Broncos win the Super Bowl, could they make a claim? It's the greatest turnaround in NFL history, like the Indiana Hoosiers. That's next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of snowmobiles or nearly $18,000 in cash the weekend of February 20th. It's your choice what you want, the 2 snowmobiles or the cash. Earn daily entries with every locked up jackpot or by redeeming points on your player card. You can also earn a chance to win during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
I've been meaning to get to this topic for over a week and maybe even longer. When you look at the greatest turnarounds in NFL history, I think 2 are easily in the top 5, if not the top 2. 1, the New England Patriots winning a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback in Tom Brady. Number 2, and this could easily be number 1, the Rams winning a Super Bowl with a guy who was bagging groceries the year before and had never taken an NFL snap in a regular season NFL game in Kurt Warner. And when you talk about historic, you have to win a Super Bowl in order to stake that claim. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I can live with that. Sure.
So when I started digging into this, and I didn't have to dig real far, when I look at what the Broncos can accomplish, would you say that the Broncos could trump Brady and Kurt Warner? So let me lay it out for you. When the Broncos signed Peyton, Russell Wilson was in the second year of his $245 million deal and was in the process of giving up 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, with the combination of giving up those picks for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. After Payton's first season, he decided to get rid of Wilson and eat $85 million in dead cap space. This was an intentional, self-inflicted wound. Is that all fair to say?
Yes, totally.
So you really have to go back 2 or 3 years. With Brady and Warner, it happened the next season, and I know I'm kind of fudging it a little bit, so I will really say the last 2 years. So it's not the greatest turnaround in 1 year, but when you add everything up, because I think that makes it applicable with losing the draft picks and the dead cap space, that to me is what could make it impressive. So when you combine that, could you have honestly imagined Peyton and a rookie quarterback would have made the playoffs in their first season together and are now okay, a team that won 14 games in the regular season, are the number one seed, division title. All that said, if they win the Super Bowl with looking back at what they had to give up and absorb, could you make the case if they win the Super Bowl, which is really a 2-year thing because it even goes back further, that could be the greatest turnaround?
Yeah, because I think you can make a very good argument that the Broncos are significantly ahead of schedule. For them to do it at all would be remarkable. For them to do it this quickly would make it even more head shaking.
Right.
Now, you bring up a good point, Eric, and I'm glad that you do this, and we've always done this on this show. This is a situation that they put themselves largely in. Sean Payton inherited it, right? He came in and inherited this, the whole Russell Wilson thing and stuff like that. Beyond that, George Payton was the driving force in the hire for Nathaniel Hackett and the signing of Russell Wilson, which we can't be revisionist. Most of us were pretty stoked about. Okay? So at the time, it seemed like a pretty good thing for the Denver Broncos, who had really been devoid of any kind of quarterbacking play, good quarterbacking play for the previous 8 years. It seemed like a really good thing at that particular point in time. But the acceleration, once Sean Payton came on board, the acceleration has been breathtaking, really. To go from 5 to 8 wins, basically, I thought was a real breath of fresh air. But then to go from 8 to 10 with a rookie quarterback was, I think, very much a surprise. I think a lot of us thought, okay, they're competitive and maybe they're into a playoff this year. Well, now here we are, and we can't forget the rate of acceleration and how it really factors into this story. Now here they are with 14 wins, the number one seed in the AFC. You can argue about how legitimate they are as a number one seed, and I know a lot of people have. I don't care about the argument of legitimacy. They are the number one seed. That's all I need to know. It is an unbelievable rise to relevance and to power. And the fact that they have done it with 2 years paying off the money that is owed to Russell Wilson is nothing short of phenomenal. A situation, yes, that they made of their own doing, but a situation nonetheless that they were willing to take on. It is remarkable. And it's a huge if the Broncos are fortunate enough to reach the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl, yeah, I think that you historically can start having the conversation of, is this one of the most, it's certainly, there's no doubt to me that Sean Payton's a Hall of Fame coach, but my God, I mean, you talk about the next chapter written in the story of Sean Payton, it would be stunning, absolutely stunning.
If he wins the Super Bowl, talking about Sean Payton, he actually jumps over Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
And I'll give you 2 reasons why.
Yeah.
No coach has gone a decade or more winning a Super Bowl. I mean, he won his first Super Bowl well over a decade ago, right? I mean, that is number one. But no coach, and it's been tried before, right? No coach has ever won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams.
Yeah.
And if for some reason he wins it this year, he will have done it in a very short amount of time, knowing that he didn't have all these first-round picks, a couple of second-round picks, and all of this dead cap space. With that, it's interesting. When you look at the ownership of the Broncos historically, starting with, and I know, there were other owners before Pat Bowlen. Pat Bowlen had 3 head coaches, right? Kind of like now, it's not really the same as the Pittsburgh Steelers where they've had like 4 total head coaches. Or is it 3? Tomlin, Cowher, Knoll. Is that it?
That's it since 1969.
Okay. So with that, how much credit does Greg Penner get? And this is why I'm saying this. And this is why ownership is so incredibly important. And it's not just the money with Greg Penner. It's hiring the right people and letting them do their jobs.
Yeah.
Pat Bowlen had 3 head coaches his whole tenure. And when I say his whole tenure, I'm drawing a line in the sand where because of his limitations, because of what he was dealing with health-wise, it really kind of ended, or his ownership in theory ended when Mike Shanahan was fired. I think you can debate, would Pat Bowlen have fired Mike Shanahan? You can debate that if you want to. Now, granted, Mike Shanahan in his final 3 years, his record was 24-24.
Yeah.
One reason I think Shanahan was fired was his relationship with Joe Ellis wasn't that great.
Right.
So you have the Ellis ownership group that we all knew was temporary. Would you like to guess how many, not interim head coaches, but how many head coaches Joe Ellis hired? Quick. Just give me a quick answer. Don't think about it. How many?
2.
6.
6.
He hired 6 head coaches in like 13 years.
Yeah.
That each coach had the shelf life of roughly 2 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years. And Greg Penner clearly, is what we've seen so far, made the right choice with Sean Payton. Sean Payton has his quarterback. And if things continue with Bo Nix and his trajectory continues to go up, barring health for Sean Payton, he will be the head coach here until he retires. So you have 2 owners that in theory could have 4 head coaches over decades. And with the Joe Ellis ownership group, he had 6 in 13 years. That's why ownership matters.
Oh my gosh, yes. Ownership, coaching, quarterback. Ownership, coaching, quarterback.
And GM. Throw in GM in there.
Yeah.
Because
yes, I agree.
Because and maybe I said this last week, Mike Shanahan famously said, if the ownership group, the GM, the head coach, and the quarterback are all on the same page, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. If they are not, your chances are exponentially worse.
Yes, which makes perfectly good sense to me. And why, when I have conversations with friends from afar, and the whole thing about the Broncos comes up and their staying power, I said, well, their staying power is the thing that's the most impressive. They do have staying power. They have staying power because of the trilogy: quarterback, coach, and ownership.
Actually, manager, you got to throw GM in there too.
Well, I know the GM picks the groceries. But that's not the conversation I've had, so I'm being clean with the conversation that I've had.
Yeah.
Yes, because I do think that the symbiotic relationship between Peyton and Peyton is especially to the Broncos extremely important, because George has his foundation in scouting. So as a general manager, he is a scouting-based general manager. And that works perfectly with the moving parts that Sean Payton likes as kind of a de facto GM on the competitive side of things. But anyway, the Broncos aren't going anywhere. They may not win the Super Bowl this year, but they are going to be a factor. They're going to be a player. They're going to be a franchise and a team and a roster that has to be accounted for what I think is at least the next, give me a window, 4 or 5 years. I think 3 to 4 years for sure. They are going to be a team that you're going to have to deal with. I'm not saying that they will be the top seed every year, but they're going to be a team that you're going to have to account for, that they're going to be that good. And I think, quite frankly, right now, I would say moving forward, that the Broncos are probably going to be the franchise to beat in the AFC West. I'm not saying it by a full – if you got to give me someone right now, if you got to give me someone, I would say that it's probably the Broncos over the Chargers by a slight bit right now. And I'm not sleeping on the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. But
I am not going to go the next 5 years. I'll go definitely next year for this reason alone. Who are their unrestricted free agents? John Franklin Myers.
Right.
Who else you got?
Right, exactly. And then
and JFM is great.
Yeah. Oh, he's phenomenal, but they can weather that storm.
The question will be, first of all, the question this upcoming offseason is, they're going to potentially lose more coaches than impact players.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Now, the biggest question is, how do they navigate this roster once Bo Nix gets paid?
Well, and that's
why I'm not willing to go 5 years with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. Then you're creating momentum.
But then again, how much better is Bo Nix in 4 to 5 years?
Well,
because that could balance the scales and then tip it in the favor of this team being exponentially better once they pay him.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hope. The hope is that here's the hope. You love the fact that you're working on a rookie contract for your quarterback who is fast becoming the face of the franchise.
He is the face of the franchise.
Right. But now but how much better will it be if you do want to pay him in a couple of years, right? I mean, because the message will be clear. Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback. That's the next level of defining for Bo Nix. He is the face of the franchise. Now, can he be everything that a franchise quarterback has to be for you to be the Buffalo Bills or the Ravens or the Chiefs year in and year out? Teams that contend at the highest level, largely because they have a quarterback that can, in the absence of anything else, will them into those positions. Look, you asked the question, and I thought it was the best question of the week. Are the Buffalo Bills favored, or is Josh Allen favored? That's a very legitimate question. Josh Allen is that kind of quarterback, and there aren't that many of those guys in this league. Can Bo Nix get to that level? It remains to be seen.
I think for Bo Nix, next year is the key year to see where this guy's going. Now, granted, we have seen quarterbacks who've needed more than 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I don't know. I think Sam Darnold comes to mind.
Right. Yep.
Although last year he was terrific as well. He was probably in bad situations, like, I don't know, being drafted by the Jets. So you look at Bo Nix's rookie season.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And then you have the potential sophomore slump because teams are adjusting to the quarterback. Now, how does Bo Nix and Sean Payton bounce back? And that's, I think, what we see next year with Bo Nix, barring injury, is what he will likely be.
Yeah. I think that if you are a glass half full or 2/3 or 3/4 full.
What's in the glass?
Yeah, well, the glass is filled with whatever elixir a quarterback needs to get to the next level.
Bruce, if the glass is kettle and tonic, it's always half empty with me.
Well said. Boom, boom. I think that next year is the year that you expect Bo Nix to step into greatness.
Yeah.
I think that and maybe it's not totally consistent yet. This guy has started, knock on wood, every game that the Broncos have played in the last 2 years. And so he is, he's still a young quarterback in terms of his development, in terms of his learning curve and all of the things like that. But you know something? He's going to be a very experienced young quarterback starting year 3 with a team that is going to be no worse than a division level playoff team, maybe even a team that has been to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl. The credibility that someone gets for being able to do that at his age, well, 25, but you get the point, at his level of experience is huge. I think next year, Bo Nix takes a large step forward up the rung of quarterbacks in the NFL.
And you know how he can get more wind in his sails? What did we say earlier this season when the Broncos played the Chiefs? Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
If he outplays Josh Allen and the Broncos win, Bo Nix will not look at it as, wow, I have a huge feather in my cap. But nationally, it will be seen that way.
Yes, you are, and you can underline that. That would be huge for him from a national perception. Of course, if he does that, all Bo Nix will be caring about is who the hell they're playing in the AFC Championship and how do we beat them to get to a Super Bowl.
And, oh, by the way, if it happens to be the Patriots against the Broncos, if both quarterbacks play well, and it depends on which team wins. If both quarterbacks play well, the quarterback on the winning team, I believe, will be considered the best quarterback of the 2024 draft class.
And by the way, how about the cred of the 2024 draft class and the guys that they have still playing right now? I
saw some knucklehead put out there, this is the best draft class of all time.
Oh, easy on that one.
Well,
easy.
That's what I responded. Yeah. I responded to the knucklehead who put it out there. Get back to me when 3 of them go to the Hall of Fame and 10 Super Bowls and two wins. Or wait, and two wins.
Yeah.
Get back to me when that happens.
I think it's a potentially very good class that's off to a great start, proving itself. But let's be careful about making that kind of statement.
And what's interesting as well about that is that these young guys haven't proven anything yet and still have to run through the gauntlet. If the teams get better, still have to run through the gauntlet of Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Burrow.
Exactly. Those guys are still in the primes of their career.
But you know what the difference is? Their salaries have hurt the GM's ability to bring in free agents to help their roster.
Yep. It has. It's a very real thing in this league, and that's what makes the salary cap so competitively compelling. It really is remarkable how much it tends to even the scales, and it's one of the. There is nothing better than the NFL, and there's nothing better than the NFL in the postseason.
Yeah.
But those guys. Going back to Pete Rozelle and Paul Tagliabue and the way that they set this thing up competitively, there's nothing like the NFL. Nothing. It's quite remarkable. And that's what keeps it, well, the violence and the betting and lots of things keep us coming back. But the competitiveness and the evenness of this league is what makes it absolutely great. Look at the games that we had last weekend. Look at the games we're looking forward to this weekend. My God, the margin for error in these games is going to be so slight. What quarterback, what defense, who makes that play in that one moment that gives you a chance to win?
Let me give you something to think about because we've run over time on our podcast.
All right.
Who do you feel more confident with? We'll answer this tomorrow. Who do you feel more confident with at quarterback? 2 minutes to go, no timeouts, down by 6. Nix or Allen? We'll talk about that tomorrow. That's next.